Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I'm going to discuss a new article that features yet another interview with Scream 6 producer William Sherrick. And in this interview, he opens up once more about Neve Campbell and the possibility of whether or not she could return for Scream 7 or in a future sequel in general. Now, with Scream 7 yet to be announced, and it's still being unknown if Radio Silence or the writing team of James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick will remain on board, there's much up in the air right now. But while we wait for the dust to settle on all of those things, we can at least clear the air on how the producers feel about Neve. Let's go! So Screen Rant just posted an article highlighting Scream 6 producer William Sherrick's comments, and you can check out the full article on ScreenRant.com if you'd like. So as you all recall, prior to the release of Scream 6, Neve Campbell announced she would not reprise her role of Sidney, expressing disappointment in the salary offered to her. Now, without her involvement, the latest entry headed to New York City. We saw the core four going to college, except for Sam, of course, not going to college, but she went there as well. And of course, they brought back Gail Weathers, and Kirby Reed made her reappearance for the first time since Scream 4. Now, following the premiere of Scream 6, there's been a lot of talk about whether Neve Campbell would return for future installments. And in a recent interview with comicbook.com, Sherrick touches on how the film's story was affected by Sidney's absence and explains that she can be incorporated into any Scream movie. William went on to say, quote, "Yes, and I think a Scream movie can always have Sidney Prescott in it. When that information came to us, you don't look at it the way you're thinking. It's much more, this is the story we were telling. Sidney can fit into any Scream movie. She's Sidney Prescott. And that just wasn't in the cards we were able to play with. So we got to tell this amazing story, and the guys crafted it brilliantly. But if Sidney Prescott's in a Scream movie, Sidney Prescott fits that Scream movie. We have that luxury. We have the luxury of a character you can always make work in this franchise." End quote. So I'll stop there and just, first of all, I love seeing this because, this really does show us again that from the producer side and the creative side, they all are on board with Sidney Prescott, or I should say Neve Campbell, returning to the film for the role of Sidney Prescott. They're all for it. They were originally had written Neve into this script. Sidney was supposed to return in the original version of Scream 6. We don't know what that would have looked like. They haven't discussed it. There's been no leaks or anything. I imagine at some point in the future, they will eventually talk about what the script would have been had Neve come back, what the role of Sidney would have been, but that may be a while. It may be a while before we ever hear what that is. But we know that she was originally written into the script. So they revised it, and Kirby came in and all those changes were made. But the thing is, we know that Radio Silence has been very open about their wish to have her back, the writers as well. But, we don't know what's going on with them, right? We know Radio Silence may not return. We don't even know if James and Guy are going to return. So what's good to hear is that, William Sherrick, who is one of the producers of Project X, so it's good to hear that a producer is on board because they're very much likely to still produce Scream 7. Even if the creative team is different, the fact that the producing team and producers, they are more likely going to be the same producers producing the movie. There's no reason for Spyglass to switch production companies when you have the last film is now the highest grossing in the franchise. So you don't fix what's not broken. So in this situation, I think that this is really good news in terms of the possibility of Sidney Prescott, the character, returning possibly in Scream 7. He's certainly open to it. And as he says here, she can fit in any Scream movie. Like, if you're going to do a Scream film, there is a role for Sidney. There's a part for her to play in it because she is, she's the franchise. She's the history of the franchise. She fits into that movie. Whatever story you're telling, there's a spot for it. She's that type of character. And he says here, it's a luxury. That's the type of character she is. You can always make it work in the franchise. So that's good news, guys. If you're someone who really does want to see Neve back, I know, not all the fandom does. I know there are some that, they love and respect what Sidney did, what Neve did and the character Sidney has done, but they're ready just to move on with brand new faces. And that's cool. I respect that, your guys' opinion that have that. But I'm of the opinion of I want Sidney back. I've always been very open about that. I don't mind having new characters, of course, but I also want her back. I want Sidney to be a part of the mix. And so I love seeing that the producer, William here, and this is not the first time, by the way. I did a video on this about a month ago in a different interview where he gave different quotes than these, but basically saying that he would be open with open arms. He would welcome her back. So he's just continuing kind of what he said a month ago in different terms, but saying the same thing essentially is that absolutely they can fit her in. They can work her in. She belongs in a Scream movie. So absolutely, and in those previous interviews of William when he was talking, he noted that any actor who's been a part of this series can come back. That's just kind of how the mentality is that they're taking with this current format of the franchise, as we saw with Kirby, and who knows who we may see come back in future installments, including 7. And also, don't forget, guys, Neve Campbell herself has expressed interest in returning to the franchise. And she had mentioned that she did not feel that Sidney's story was over, that there were still more chapters to her story. And after the support she received, she could be presented with a better contract. I think that could definitely happen and would reflect the significance of her character. I think that certainly with the producer, William, coming forward here, the creative team already on record with saying they want her back, and Neve saying she wants to come back, I really do hope that during this time right now between announcing Scream 7 and things happening, that there are negotiations happening. I really hope so. And Neve is one of those people that they are working on contracts right now to try to iron things out so that when they announce Scream 7, we'll also get the announcement that Neve Campbell is returning to reprise her role of Sidney Prescott. That's really, really what I'm hoping to hear. So it's going to be interesting to see if Neve makes another appearance and they work these things out, and what other legacy characters might join her. Who else could we possibly see? And, despite the success of this new movie of Scream 6 and breaking all the records, there are many longtime fans in the fandom, myself included, many of you here in the community, that have expressed the same sentiment, that are still eager for Sidney's storyline to continue in Scream, and would be over the moon excited for her to return, like I would be. I'm one of those fans as well. So let's see what happens, guys. Stay tuned. It's positive news that William is still expressing interest and Sidney, and that Neve can come back and that they want her back. Those are all really positive things. So stay tuned. You guys know, as soon as I hear anything more about this, I will always bring it to you right away. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this update. But I want to know what you think about William Sherrick's comments on Neve Campbell and how he feels she can fit in any Scream film. What do you think about that? Leave your comments below right now so we can discuss it. Do you want Neve back? Do you want her to stay gone? What do you think? Give me your opinions and your thoughts and your ideas. Well, guys, I'll be back soon with more Scream and other horror movie content. But But don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thanks for watching.